guys, you have to understand that you must have purpose. If you lack purpose, you're going to make your life oriented around the avoidance of the fact that you lack purpose. Now, you have to understand that the purpose of existence is expansion. And so you have to look at yourself, you have to look at your life, and you have to find out what you need to expand upon every fucking day. And so what we do is we simply cultivate the higher qualities needed through the actions necessary to cultivate and culminate those qualities through what we put our time and energy into. You have to understand that you are the investment of life. And the investment is you expanding in every fucking area. And the capital for the investment is the time and energy and attention that you have. And those are the resources for you to amplify the level of your existence every fucking day by doing things that make you a better person. And so we have to understand that when you lack purpose, you're going to make it your purpose to devoid the fact that you have no purpose. And if you have no purpose, that means your life has no meaning to yourself, because purpose is simply meaning. And so when you have a lot of meaning for expanding and growing every fucking day, this is going to reflect in the way you behave. This is going to reflect in the way you sequence, modulate, and correspond to navigating yourself to higher levels in life. And so most of you guys lack purpose, and so you devoid the fact that you have no purpose. And because if you come to the realization you have no purpose, you now have to sit with the fact you believe that you have no meaning. And so most of you guys drown in distractions. You drown yourself out from actually looking in the mirror and realizing that every day you make it your purpose to devoid the fact you have no purpose. You guys devoid the responsibility to look in the mirror and expand every fucking day. You guys sit there and you devoid and you subtract yourself from doing what you need to do to expand. You have to understand, all the universe is fucking doing is expanding. When you plant the seed and the seed has a healthy foundation to grow, all it's doing is expanding. And so when we look at you, a sentient being, a vessel of consciousness inhabiting the space of Earth, and you sit there and you avoid the responsibility of expansion because you're too busy drinking, smoking, partying, stroking your dick to porn, and playing the video game, we now have to understand that all those actions is simply the means to the end, and the end is simply to devoid and avoid the fact that you have no meaning or purpose for your existence. And so it's very simple. We're not creating purposes that are meaningless. We are simply looking around and aligning with everything that is aligned. And so what we do is we expand. And you will not, you guys sit there and you use this cheap ass dopamine hits, and then you believe this is what's going to fulfill you. This is what makes you feel good. But nothing is going to feel better than looking in the mirror and realizing how much of a different person you have transformed into. Nothing is going to fulfill you more than looking in the mirror and realizing what you were and who you became and what you are continually expanding to become. And so again, if you don't have any purpose, you're going to make it your purpose to avoid the fact you have no purpose. And this is going to reflect in the actions you take daily. Most of you guys waste your fucking time on an endless fucking cycle until you fucking die. And then when you're at a certain age, you look back and then now you have to reflect on all the time you wasted doing nothing. And so most of you guys, you are a liability to yourself because you stagnate in a comfort zone. And so expansion is simply the breaking of boundaries and the expanding beyond. If expansion is to literally expand, like literally visualize it, expanding, you have to understand that your comfort zone is the limit and boundary of your expansion. And so when you sit there and you feed it, you have to understand that your comfort zone is like a wall. It's like a veil. And your veil is so thick that you no longer can actually look in the mirror and comprehend the fact that you're going to be stuck at where you are at. You are going to die a bitch if you don't do some shit to fix some shit. And so you have to understand that time is always decreasing. Time is going to fly by. And so again, you are the investment of life. And if you're not going to use the present moment to gift yourself a present in the future, well, you have to understand that every low quality that exists within your existence at this time in the present moment is going to be there in the future. And so the point of self-investing is to rid those lower qualities so in the future you are a higher quality thing. And these higher qualities is going to reflect in the way you conduct yourself. And the way you conduct yourself is going to reflect what you're going to induce into your existence. And so we have to understand that if you are okay with conducting yourself as a low quality individual, well, you are going to induce lower quality things in your existence. You're going to induce low quality events. You are going to repel anything high quality. You are going to attract negativity. When you wake up every day and you perfect your character and you move a certain way, you conduct yourself at a high standard, well, this is going to reflect in who you'll become. And this is also going to attract things in the same nature. This is also going to induce higher quality states of being in your existential experience. And so again, if you don't have the purpose every day to expand, if you don't have any purpose at all for your existence, your purpose is going to be the avoidance of devoiding the fact you have no purpose. And purpose is simply meaning. And so what you derive meaning from is going to reflect the character that you become and the character that you are. And so when you derive meaning from things that are meaningless, from meaningless validation, from meaningless events that add up and correlate to nothing, that accumulate to nothing, literally, when you derive meaning from cheap dopamine hits, when you derive meaning from pleasure and sensational, feeling that temporarily makes you escape the low-level piece of shit that you are, well, you're going to have to understand that this is going to reflect in the way you'll sequence to your death. This is going to reflect the timeline that you existed. This is going to perpetuate the lower qualities that you choose to indulge in. And so you have to understand that you have to truly confront yourself, and you have to ask yourself, is that what you derive meaning from? And most of you guys sit there in a state of delusion and pretend like that is not what the fuck you are. What the fuck you do is what the fuck you are. And if every day you're going to wake up and choose to do something that is horrible for yourself, when you sit there, you jerk off the porn, and then you go out into reality and you project your internal chaos of sexual lust that you cannot control and cannot contain, and project that onto random things, neutral objects, fucking sentient beings inhabiting the space and the same environment as you, and you project that lust onto them. You have to understand that this is a reflection of your iniquity. This is a reflection of how shit you are as a person. And so most of you guys lack the comprehension, and you guys lack the fucking mental bandwidth or capacity to realize how shit you are as a person. Your body is a reflection of your soul. Is that what the fuck you derive meaning from? Being a low-level piece of shit? Everything is a reflection of your soul that you put your time and energy into. So most of you guys sit there in this gamut of a perpetuation of escaping yourself. When the fuck are you going to look in the mirror and realize that all you've been doing is contracting yourself as an individual? And so the fundamentals of reality is very fucking simple. You look in the mirror and you dominate your fucking life. You look at what the fuck is holding you back. You look at the resistances. You look at the tensions, the intentions that you have. When you sit there, you jerk off the porn. When you sit there and you hit a vape, you have the intention to passively kill yourself. You have an underlying motive to decimate your own existence and destroy yourself, because that's what the fuck you're using as an escape cope mechanism, because you're scared to look in the mirror and realize how fucked you are in the head. Find purpose in expansion. Find purpose in constructing a higher quality persona. Find purpose in looking in the fucking mirror and dominating your life every fucking day, ensuring that results correspond to. Most of you guys sit there on this fake perpetuation of development. Fucking look in the mirror and realize that people are living lives that you would trade your life for. And so the only thing you're lacking is the work you need to put in. And so put the fucking work in and pay the price for what the fuck you want in life. Most of you guys can't even pay the fucking price, because most of you guys rather sit there in that boundary of self-limitation, that comfort zone, and escape through the Pornhub, through the alcohol, through the vape, and through the weed, because you're too bitch to look in the fucking mirror and confront that pussy. And so now you're gonna die that shit, and every ancestor that has suffered in your bloodline for you to exist where you are now, in the present moment, is going to look at you with astounding disappointment as you continue to inhabit this space and waste your fucking life and reflect this low quality emanation of a piece of shit bitch, of a suffocation to be aware of. You have to understand that you're either going to give life breath or you're going to take breath from life. And so the breath that we give you is the clarity to look in the mirror and confront yourself. Most of you guys sit there and you suffocate through life. And then you take breath from others. What you need to do is look in the mirror and reflect on that piece of shit, because you will die that shit. And so every day we wake up and we choose expansion, because we know that our purpose is expansion, because we know that if we have no purpose to expand, our purpose will become devoiding the fact that we're not expanding. And this is going to reflect in the low quality emanations that most people configure their entire existence and orient themselves around, because they're too pussy to look at that bitch in a fucking mirror and realize they're going to die that shit. And you know, they did nothing to change. They did nothing to grow. And this is what is the burden your soul carries. And so when you randomly feel those spikes of negativity, when your emotions drop and you have to truly feel what is beneath the surface of your conscious mind, when your subconscious is now rising to the surface and the bubbles of the pain that you silently suffered through rise to the surface, you have to understand that this is what the fuck you exist within. And so you're either going to do some shit to clean the shit in the bottom of your lake, or that shit is going to sit there and you're going to marinate in this fucking debauchery that you choose to perpetuate on an endless fucking loop, samsara cycle, till you fucking die. It's that fucking simple. Peace!